Well, hello.
Yes. Hello.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Joe.
Joe.
And you're listening to what are we called?
This is Reliable Sources, but this is the Organization of Transparency and Merit.
That's right. It's the Organization of Transparency and Merit.
And we have Ruthie on.
I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you. You've been on
Yeah,
many of our shows.
Yeah.
So happy.
Absolutely. So, and I remember the first time that we met on air was over the Trayvon Martin case, and that was over, I guess, let's see, like 7 years ago, I believe. We've known of each other.
That's a good marker.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I picked this thing, reliable sources in social media and big tech. Basically, it looks to me like big, and I've heard this kind of rumblings throughout, both mainly on the three large social media or big tech platforms. Both, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are pushing mainstream content. And what does that mean? I mean, is that true? It looks to be very true. And what does that mean for smaller content creators? And I just think that what I've been looking at is that it's just because YouTube used to be where you could look up any subject and it would give you, it would go down the line of lists of of different subjects. Now it is like it goes like if it's a news oriented subject, I've noticed that it goes CNN. Fox News and the like. It doesn't go outside of the mainstream, and it doesn't go to independent content creators.
They warned us that they were going to do that.
Yeah, they did.
And that's just it. None of it has been hidden. It's right in front of our faces. We walked ourselves right to that this situation. Absolutely.
That's correct.
Every step of the way.
And it seems like, and I don't know what their motivation. I have an idea of what their motivation behind that was, because I know on YouTube a lot of advertisers, and this was early on, pulled their advertising. I think they lost quite a bit of money in advertising, and then they decided to kind of, and this was, and I call it the civil rights industrial complex. This was, a lot of these diversity, a lot of these Fortune 500 companies that were advertising on YouTube and on social media, they have diversity programs and civil rights civil rights groups kind of entrenched in their companies. And I think that they made quite a fuss about that their advertising dollars, their businesses were on some of these YouTube channels that they considered to be anti-diversity or anti-protected class. And that's kind of where it began. And it's kind of snowballed into there. And it's like, this isn't, it's kind of like, I get the impression that their view of the world, if it's challenged, then it's going to be, they won't debate you. They will just primarily censor you.
That's correct.
Now, Ruthie, what are some of the alternatives that people can do in order to fight this?
It's not a matter of what we can do in order to fight this. We have to wait for the dust to settle and then determine what we're going to do. We can't make any decisions yet because it's still unraveling.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, there have been a few lawsuits by, particularly by PragerU, and I think by other smaller content creators, because originally it was an open platform. Particularly YouTube was an open platform, and the algorithms kind of went kind of naturally, and now it seems like they're not doing that anymore. It seems rather underhanded what they're doing.
It's been going on since 2013-14. It's not new. I had launched a request that they look at their housing, that Facebook look at its housing program, where it would go into your user ID, see who your friends were, who your relatives were, which gave them a visual of your ethnicity, a visual. And from that visual, they would determine whether or not they would allow, when they put on those postings advertising rental apartments, whether or not they'd even let you see the ad. It's still on and active today, and it's 2019.
So it seems like they're doing a two-pronged approach, because one thing they don't want, they want to prevent hate speech, yet they're doing things that are rather, I guess, could be construed as kind of discriminatory as far as advertising practices, as far as selling their product to a select group.
They pay third world countries sometimes less than 99 cents an hour so that they could do all of the review at night. They review all of the postings. And sometimes socially they don't know what a posting actually means. I posted years ago a woman who lost both her breasts to cancer, and she went to a tattoo artist who tattooed a most beautiful garden on her chest. It was the most beautiful, colorful thing I had ever seen. And she went to the Y and she swam like she had done before. She had had the cancer surgery, and they pulled her out for being nude. They said she was there without a bra, and she had no cover. She had no breasts. She didn't need a cover anymore. There was nothing to see. And Facebook removed my photo of the woman with the garden on her chest. Now, the photos that were posted with American hip-hop artists who were American in nature, born and bred in the U.S., and were entertaining in Brazil, and squatted in front of the audience where the photographers got a crotch shot showing visible everything. I don't have to detail it. That was not removed from Facebook, and it's still up.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly that they have. So, and I guess perhaps the machine is really foreigners, and I know that a lot of these tech companies hire in India to do a lot of their work. I wonder if they're also doing a lot of the censoring because they can pay them much cheaper than they would, than they would in America or in another first world country. And there are lots of them, so there are plenty of people that are eager to do the work and probably, speak and know our English language fairly well, and they're able to basically censor things that are considered offensive.
Yeah,
Well,
I found a video earlier about from 2014, just like what you were saying, Ruthie. This is about the time when a lot of people were starting to kind of say, hey, wait a second here. And this video is titled U.S. Fights China's Internet Censorship. Now, I don't know if you've seen, heard of the social ranking system that China has adopted. No doubt that's going to make its way here in America. If it's not, I'm sure it already is in some respect. But social ranking.
Explain it.
Well, it's essentially your entire online world will be quantified and be given a score. And so if you're going online and making racist comments on videos and whatever it is that people do when they're on the internet, we'll all have a reflection on this social ranking system. It was rolled out in all. Oh, you're gonna laugh at this. Guess where it was rolled out? It was rolled out in a place in Australia called Darwin. I'm not kidding you. Darwin, Australia was where the next kind of like the next country to take this and start using it in an effective sort of way. Now, in America, it's kind of laughed at the moment. I think like, oh yeah, right. But I have no doubt that all that data is going to serve a much higher purpose and will eventually make its way here. It's a scary thing when you think about it. It's a scary thing to think if I wanted to go down the street and look at some Toyotas. How do I know if I'll get what if I get denied? That loan for that Toyota car based on some kind of social ranking score. I'm not saying right now, but if in a future time, or what if, it just leads to a whole lot of interesting scenarios. I think.
And I just
go ahead.
I just saw an article right here on my Facebook page. A gentleman saying that Facebook is not a free speech platform. Facebook declares it's a publisher and can censor whomever it wants. And is it walking into a trap? Because one of the things, particularly with YouTube, is it acting as a publisher, or is it acting as a third party? as an open platform?
Oh, right.
Because they are, I guess, and Facebook too, they can't be sued for publishing copyrighted material and the like. So, I don't know if Facebook is under that same thing too. Are they?
They are a publisher.
So Facebook is YouTube a publisher?
Yes.
Have they said that they're a publisher?
It doesn't matter whether they say it or not. Who cares? If you act a certain way and you take on the behaviors of a certain industry, then that's what you are.
That's what you are, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, they have protection from libel and copyrighted material. So they're acting. They have from my understanding, they have the legal protection of an open forum, but they're acting as a publisher while taking the legal right of an open forum.
All right.
So,
you're probably too young to remember this, but about 30 years ago, there was a very, AOL was very, very strong 30 years ago. And they eventually were told in court to stop sending those free 20 hours of AOL time if you use this CD-ROM, and they would give them away for free everywhere. They'd give them away. Do you remember that?
Sure.
Yes.